It's time to talk a little bit about culture during the Qing Dynasty. Now, this is a time when Christianity returns. Christian missionaries come back into China, and they're all, well, I was going to point out they're all trying to convert them to Christianity, but duh, they're missionaries. Now, these are foreigners, mostly Jesuits, if you know who they are, who tried to teach the Chinese. Now, to do it, though, they try something that's a little bit different. They actually learned Chinese, and most of their predecessors hadn't done so. They figured that their language was right in a religious sense, and so they didn't want to. They thought the heathens could learn their languages, but no, these guys they learned to read and write Chinese. They also learned their philosophies. So they learned all about Confucius, Neo-Confucianism mostly, and found similarities between Christianity and Confucianism. And so they attempt to paint Christianity as a sister philosophy to Confucianism. So they did those two things. They also, of course, a good missionary needs to be cool, right? So in order to be super cool, they brought what they called self-ringing bells. Self-ringing bells. We would call them clocks, like chiming clocks. But the Chinese thought these were super cool. It's not that they didn't have the technology to make them themselves. It's just that someone else thought of it first, and so they thought these were super neat. And so these missionaries come in, and they are immensely successful. However, other Catholic missionaries went to the Pope, and they said the way these guys are getting converts is they are cheating. They are breaking the rules of Christianity. They're teaching that Chinese people are supposed to keep their own culture and speak their own language, and they're teaching that Christianity is very similar to Confucianism, and so they managed to convince the Pope to limit Christian missionary work in China, mostly because they were jealous of their success, and so it doesn't spread as much as it could otherwise, or could have otherwise. The other thing you need to know about the Qin culture is that they were expansionists. Now, I've mentioned this already because they started up at the top and then they've moved over quite a bit. So they start up in Manchuria and they spread down. Remember that map? Well, they don't just do that. They also spread, as you can see, all over the place. They get tributary states. See those tributary states? They get this entire region, what used to be Mongolia, or the outer part of Mongolia, and they succeed. They conquer Mongolia, Tibet, Taiwan, and all of modern China.